You're listening to an archived Cabral Concept podcast. After listening to this show, check out the most up-to-date podcasts available at stephencabral.com/podcasts or search directly on iTunes. And now, welcome to the Cabral Concept, where board-certified naturopath and integrative health practitioner Dr. Stephen Cabral shares how he was diagnosed at the age of 17 with a life-altering illness and given no hope for recovery. It was only after studying and traveling all over the world did he discover how to combine ancient Ayurvedic healing practices with state-of-the-art naturopathic and functional medicine to fully rebalance the body and re-energize it with life. It's time to discover how to get well, lose weight, and finally feel alive again. And now, here's your host, Dr. Stephen Cabral.
Thank you for joining me here today on our Mindset and Motivation Monday. So happy to have you. Love having you at the beginning of the week to get the week started off right and make sure that we get our minds right? That we focus on the main thing. And the main thing is always progress. The main thing in life that I find that for most people, that gives them the sense of purpose, that gives them the sense of fulfillment, is feeling like they're moving forward, that there's some type of progress, that they're not stagnant, that it's not like every day is Groundhog Day. It's kind of like every day I do this, and I do this, then I go to bed and I wake up and I do this, and that is not a life, right? That is not what any of us want. Now, we all have our day jobs, right? Everybody has to do their day job. I get that. Maybe it's not your favorite thing in the world, but there has to be other things in life that you're working on. That's what we're going to talk about today. Other things that are going to allow you to feel fulfilled. They're going to allow you to feel happy and that you have a sense of purpose. Now, the important thing is this. We all have goals. We'll talk about the goals. We've talked about that for quite some time. But we need a surefire way to success. We need a surefire way of making sure that we achieve those goals, because here's the other thing. If we set goals for ourselves and we don't achieve them, or we're not working towards them, it makes us even more depressed. It makes us even more anxious because, okay, we know we want these things in our life. We believe that they'll lead to more happiness, but now we're not even working on them. That's the problem. So here's what we need to do. We need to create some type of system, which anyone can do literally in the world. Any person, like any child, legitimately child, teenager, adult can work towards these things. That's what I want to share with you today. And it's this concept of, in the beginning, when you are looking to accomplish any goal in life or move forward in any part of your life, it has to be a day in and day out thing. It does not need to be a lot of time. I'm going to give you about a 20-minute system that I'm going to teach you that really does work for most people, but it has to be daily. I'm going to share with you why. So many years ago, let's say about 15 to 20 years ago, I was really into natural bodybuilding. And so I wanted to take this 165-pound, 170-pound maximum frame and build it up to 200 pounds. Now, for my size, that would be a lot of weight. But I didn't want to add fat weight. I didn't want to get fat. Well, of course, that's not many people's goal, right? I mean, putting on some weight, becoming overweight is nobody's goal. It happens because sometimes we kind of like not really pay attention to what we're doing. And sometimes there's actual hormone imbalance. And sometimes we get injured and we, can't move our bodies as well. And there's a lot of factors for it, right? In my practice, to be fair, I work with a lot of people who are eating well and they're exercising, a decent amount, and they still can't lose the weight. And that's why hormones do play a factor. Insulin plays a factor. Toxicities play a factor. So again, I don't want to downplay that. But for me, I was looking at, let's say when I was in college, 18, 20 years old, I said, I want to really start to put on weight. And when I was 22, I said, okay, now I've put on weight. I built my body up, but I want to take it to that next level. How do I do that naturally? Now, my body type, as I've explained before, is called a V3K2P1. That means that I'm predominantly Vata. I'm about 60% or so Vata, about 30% Kapha body type, and about 10% Pitta. So we all have a different amount of each one. Some people are really like predominantly 80% one thing. Some people are less. Some people have a really good mixture. So just because of my parents' body types, then my parents' body types are quite different. I got a decent mixture. But that Vata type in me does not allow to put on a stronger metabolism. Now, not as strong, obviously, 15, 20 years later, meaning that Kapha can come out and I can gain weight. If I start eating a lot of processed carbs, believe me, the weight will come on. But what I was trying to do is to say, how can I put on more and more muscle? So what I had to do was this. I had to really out-eat and train smartly to out-train my body. Now, to work against my genotype. So what I had to do was this. I needed to, on an every single day basis, track my calories and prep for that, meaning that I couldn't take a day off from my nutrition. So every day, what I had to do was I had to make sure that I actually got all of my meals set up for the day. So back then I was eating 5 to 6 times per day. And I don't recommend this, but remember, we all learned I was eating about 275 plus grams of protein, and I was eating over 4,000 calories upwards of 5,000 calories per day. Now, it worked, meaning I got up to, never hit 200, right? I got to 196 point something. And at that point, I said, this is big enough. I actually don't love how my body looks. I've gotten too big. I've always done martial arts. I'm not quick in martial arts anymore. And I'm getting sick, meaning like I've got pneumonia during the winter. I just didn't have the immune system. Didn't feel great because I was consuming an enormous amount of protein, enormous amount of calories. And all of that comes with it, toxins. And of course, back then I wasn't eating like grass-fed this and, vegan that. Like that was not in my vocabulary. It was literally going the dollar menu at Wendy's at night to try to make sure I could get enough calories on my way home from Boston to Providence. But that's a different story. So, that's what we all look at. But I achieved my goal. And I did it through tracking my workouts. And I did it through making sure all of my meals were meal prepped for each and every day. And over the course of, let's say, I think it was probably like 5 months or so, to 6 months, I was able to put on that 30 pounds, or not quite 30 pounds, but right around there. And that, although, yes, it was a success, but also at the same time realizing that that's not what I wanted. So I right away, within the next, let's say, like 8 weeks, I dropped back down to about 175 pounds, 176 pounds, which I felt much better at, felt really good at. So, but it was a success because it was a success in that I could make my body, which was a hard gainer back then, do anything that I wanted to. Meaning like I out-ate my metabolism. I did this, I did that. I made sure that I was on the right supplementation. I was doing 2 to 3 shakes per day to make sure I got in all my calories, to make sure I got in my protein. Meaning like I did what I had to and I created a system for success. So that allowed me, again, like every single day, doing the right things in order to enjoy that success. That's really what it was. And I did the same thing really along the way, meaning that in terms of my wellness, I went to the doctors, I implemented the plans, I read the books, I learned from it. Some things were successes, some things were failures. That I learned from that, I tweaked it, I moved forward, I kept moving forward. That's really it is, but I did it on a daily basis. And that's what I want to share with you right now, because I honestly believe that right now, you can create the wellness that you want, the weight loss or weight gain, the relationships, the spirituality, the whatever it is that you're looking for, if you are willing to apply a simple system that you can use every single day. And that's because it's not enough to do it once a week. And here's why. This is honestly, it's the whole thing between taking the stairs when you're looking to lose weight and parking at the other side of the parking lot and making the longer walk, to the mall or to the, grocery food store, whatever it is. It's the mentality. Taking the stairs doesn't do a lot. I mean, I'm just going to be honest with you, right? I mean, I'm a health practitioner, of course, take the stairs. I recommend that. If you're looking for a caloric burn, you might burn like 40 calories. Like honestly, you might burn 40 calories. That's it. So no big deal. And if you did that 3 times a day, well, now you burn 120 calories. Well, sure, like that means something. It matters. It's great. But here's the thing. What really matters is the thought of you taking the stairs. So it's the mindset that you're in that if you're willing to take the stairs, you're probably willing to eat the healthy lunch. And if you're willing to eat the healthy lunch, then hopefully you're going to keep your exercise commitment as well. So it's a mindset that you stay in, but you have to do it daily. So if every day you take the stairs, every day you're staying in that mindset, that is the secret to success. But now let's talk about a surefire way to succeed. So for me, and this is what I highly recommend for you, what I'm recommending is that somehow you're waking up before the rest of your commitments take place. Now for me, I have 2 young girls, my wife, and my French Bulldog Moose. And I have to wake up before all of their needs need to be met. Meaning like, of course, my wife is doing her thing, but my 2 girls, they need their needs met. And also then I have to go to work. And then I have to make sure that I'm a good head of the company. I'm a good functional medicine doctor for the people that I see in my practice, that I can create hopefully good content for the podcast. Like all of those things need to be met. But what about me? Like I need to meet my needs in order to reach my individual goals, which in turn makes me a better person to try to help everyone else out. So what I'm looking to do, what I do is I wake up first thing in the morning at least 60 minutes before I have to get into work or whatever it might be. Usually it's 90 minutes, okay? Because I need 30 minutes of that to get myself like kind of prepped and out the door, whether it's, shaving, showering, making sure I get all my stuff ready for the day, okay? So I allot, 20, 30 minutes for that. But 60 minutes is for me. So what I do is I make sure I do two things. One is I make sure I get my mind right. And the second thing is I'm working on my movement. I always do my body weight exercises. You can tune back. I've talked about that many, many times. I'm not going to talk about that today because I'm talking about the big concepts today. But then I'm also doing something that I need to do in my life right now in order to move myself forward to whatever that next 12-week goal is. And again, you've heard me talk about 12-week goals. If you haven't, type in 12-week goal at stephencabral.com/podcast. You have to check back into those podcasts. Each and every one, is kind of like how we build, how we grow. So that for me might be reading a book. It might be working on a certification. It might be writing, my book. That's a big thing. And I work on my writing early in the morning as well. But I'm not checking email. I'm not answering phone calls. I'm not listening to messages. I'm not doing any of those things. I'm doing things that are going to move me forward towards my purpose, towards whatever my level of fulfillment is. Like literally, it might be trying to improve on martial arts based kata or, some type of yoga based flow. It could be any one of those things, but it's something I'm working towards for those next 12 weeks. And I'm going to give you some examples in just a moment. The other thing that I do is that I make sure that it's a 7-day-a-week thing. So typically on a daily basis, I'm waking up somewhere around 5:30. Now it might be 5, but it's usually never later than around 5:30, 5:45. And so let's just say it's 5:30 because that's always typically what it is. And on the weekends, I'm doing the same. I'm never sleeping in really past 6 o'clock. There's always going to be exceptions, right? Let's say I was at a wedding the night before. We stayed out late. Maybe I stayed in bed till 7. Never later than 7. Because here's the thing. I need a 7-day-a-week plan that's going to keep my mind in the game. And so what I do is even on the weekend, I'm never sleeping in past 6 o'clock really, ever. And that's because I know that my daughters are going to be up by probably 7 a.m. at the latest. So if I know that they're up by 7, I know that I have 60 minutes or at least 30 minutes that on the weekends, because I can shower a little later, that I need to get my thing done. All right? Because I know that if I get my thing done, it's not selfish, it's actually selfless. And I've talked about this before. Because remember that quote by Jim Rohn that I always talk about, which is, I'll take care of me for you if you'll take care of you for me. Only I can provide my happiness. It can't be external. My wife can't provide that happiness. My children can't. My work can't. I have to provide it. I do. Now, can I get it from a great relationship with my wife, my children, my work? Yes, but I have to be the creator of that. And I also need to be able to feel like I'm growing. And in order to do that, I need to get a little bit of me time. So I'm better for my daughters on the weekend if I get at least that 30 to 60 minutes before they wake up to focus on whatever it is that I'm working on. Plus, and I'm going to tell you this right now, is that it does not break the cycle. Too many of us right now, when we're looking to transform our bodies, when we're looking to get well, when we're looking to, whether it's, really improve on our own education or work towards a certification or whatever it might be, we break the cycle. And we break it on let's say Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. On Monday, it's so hard to get back into. It really is. It's just like you have to push yourself to get back into it. But if you do it every day, every single morning, that's just part of your routine. You don't have to think about it. Remember, my mind is a very scary place. It just is. So what I need to do is safeguard against my own mind, which can go down all sorts of different rabbit holes. And so what I do is I take my mind out of the equation. I wake up, I do this, 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 and this. That's what I do. I just go step by step. I don't have to think about it. I wake up, I told you this before, but I do my daily fruit and vegetable blend. I squeeze some lemon or lime in there. I do a pinch of sea salt, a little local wildflower honey, and that is raw. Or I'll do some Manuka honey in there, just a little bit, half a teaspoon. I'll stir that around. I drink it down, and then I have a little bit of honey left on that spoon, and then I eat that right off the spoon, and that's that to me hydrates my body, gets all the nutrition that I need for that daily fruit and vegetable blend. Then right away, I'm going in, brushing my teeth. But even as I'm brushing my teeth, I've already put on a podcast or I've already put on a video that I knew the night before that I wanted to watch because I have it all lined up. I'm going to talk about all these things today. Not for too much longer, but I'm going to talk about them. And what it does, though, is immediately it's getting me in the right mindset. So now I'm listening to an interview by Tom Bilyeu, or I'm listening to maybe it's a Jim Rohn talk from before, or a Les Brown talk, or who else is great out there? Eric Thomas, or I'm listening to a Tony Robbins. It could be anything. Like I listen to so many different things. I also listen to things that just interest me, that get me motivated. And then I'm also listening to just, some of my favorite, podcasts as well, or things that I can learn from. So that's what I do. I'm brushing my teeth. I'm watching that. It's getting me in the right mindset because your mind is very open and susceptible to what you're thinking about first thing in the morning when you first wake up, because you're still in that low beta state. So it's a great way to do your meditation then, or to start to fill your mind with positive things. So oftentimes too, depends on what phase I'm at in that part of life. I'll read a self-improvement based book for 10 minutes right there to get my mind right. And then I'm just getting into my day. I have to get into my day, I shower, I get ready, boom. The next thing I do is I do my movement-based exercise, my body weight things, and then I'm working on me. So whatever it is now, I feel like I'm fresh. I showered, I'm prepped for the day, I am ready to go, and I'm focusing now on whatever I need to do. I need to write my book, I need to record something, whatever it is, that's what I'm doing. The most important thing that I'm working on for that next 12 weeks is the immediate thing that I'm doing before I wake up. Now, I've had to a couple times, even on the weekends, I go to a local coffee shop, and I'll go to that local coffee shop by 6 a.m. or 6:30 a.m. at the very, very latest. And I work there for an hour. And that is absolutely quiet, focused time. Believe me, coffee shops are pretty quiet at 6 o'clock in the morning, especially on the weekend. And I had to do that actually just a few months back because I had a bunch of projects going on that became so overwhelming that I would have to continue to work on them on the weekend, which I didn't want to do because that's family time. So what I needed to do was I need to get to that coffee shop to bang out. You'd be surprised at how much work you can get done if you have 60 minutes of focus. And I was able to take care of them. Then if my girls were taking a nap, I could check back in a little bit, and that was it. Like that was it. And I felt great about doing that. Again, you have to see where you're at in life. So for me, I don't have to accomplish my goal all at once, as long as I know I'm making progress. That's where most of us are. Meaning like, I really believe, and I spoke about this on last Training Thursday, about can you really transform your body in 6 weeks? I told people there's short-term wins and there's long-term wins. I love the short-term wins. I don't even know what the long-term win's going to be. Now, a lot of people, they might want to lose 50 pounds. Celebrate the 5-pound loss your first week. Celebrate the 10 pounds in 21 days. Celebrate those things. And the reason is like, that shows progress. It means that, if you just keep going like this, you're going to achieve your goals. That, to me, that's inspiring. And to be honest, at this point in my life, I don't even know nor want to ever reach the finish line. I'll be so much happier as long as I'm always dedicated to a goal, as long as I'm always working forward. And when I accomplish one goal, I'm just going to set the next. That's how life works. I've learned from successful people. I really have. I've just said like, hey, what makes you tick? What makes you happy? What makes you feel successful? Almost every single one of them, not almost, every single one of them is always about what is the next project that I'm working on. The only flaws that I've seen in some of the people is that they don't take a little time to celebrate those victories, meaning like they're always in work mode. They always move to the next thing. So for me, I try to celebrate the little wins. I celebrate the milestones along the way. I could do just something like, hey, I want to take my family for a weekend vacation, or I want to go get a massage when I do this, and this. Like maybe when I finish my book, okay, I'm going to book like an afternoon, like I'm going to take off the whole afternoon and I'm going to do my workout. I'm going to do sauna. I'm going to do a massage. I'm going to just, feel great. Like those little things to celebrate along the way. But what I've found is that it's really understanding that it's the daily motivation, the daily moving forward, the daily positive self-talk, and being able to feel like you have some control of your life, that you're actually the designer of your life, that allows you to start feeling happier, that allows you to feel more fulfilled. So what I want you to do right now is start to plan out your next 12 weeks. I just want you to choose one goal. There's 100 goals you might have. Choose one. What's one is most important to you right now? Now, what I'd like you to do is then how can we break that down into weekly goals? And again, you've heard me talk about this before. Just type in SMART goal setting at stephencabral.com/podcast. I teach you exactly how to do this. Also at our Facebook support group at cabralsupportgroup.com. You can also find the SMART goal setting sheet there. once you set your 12-week goal, now maybe it's going to take you a year to accomplish. That's okay. What can you accomplish from that 1-year goal within 12 weeks? Okay. Now what you're going to do is you have your weekly goals of what you need to create and accomplish in order to meet that 12-week goal. All right. Then simple. From here, what you're going to do next is create a nightly to-do list. You don't want to wait until the next morning to create that to-do list. You want to do it now. You want to do it the night before so that when you wake up, you already have your list of what you need to accomplish. Maybe that next morning is just part of your routine. Now, you need to actually write down your routine for at least the first 3 weeks. After that, it's going to be literally, it's going to feel like the back of your hand. You're going to just simply do it each and every day. So that's what I want to do is just make sure that you never leave your morning, you never leave your next day to chance. And what I'm going to recommend right now is creating some type of morning and evening based anchors. So you do the same thing every morning, you do the same thing every evening because, oftentimes what happens in the middle of the day is out of our control. I can't always control exactly when I'm going to have the time to do this, the time to do that. I do my best. I really do. I have pretty good control of my schedule now, but things pop up and I can't get super aggravated about that. But what I do is I make sure that I'm anchored in terms of mindset in the morning, which is most important, and then before bed, which is most important as you're going to put your head on the pillow, that your mind's in the right place, that it's focused on the positive things that you're accomplishing. Yes, there are things that you always need to be working out, difficulties in life, but focus on how you're moving forward. Now, the next thing is to make sure that you're guaranteeing your success, that you are creating a surefire way to succeed. So I talk with so many different people that are looking to maybe move into a different career. Well, if you're getting the certification, if you're going back and you're studying whatever it might be, well, then the first part of your morning can absolutely be dedicated to 30 to 60 minutes of study, without a doubt. Like that can be it. Let's say that you're looking to improve your wellness. Well, you're going to line your supplements up for that morning. You're going to put them in little baggies or you're going to do whatever you need. You're also going to plan out your meals, right? You're going to have your meals maybe prepped for that day. You're going to make your smoothie ahead of time. That's going to be your one thing to focus on. And that's absolutely fantastic. What about weight loss? Well, you're going to have your gym bag packed. You're going to make sure that you're getting to the gym during lunch or after work or before work, or maybe you're just working out at home. That working at home might be part of your 30 minutes to yourself. The next thing you're going to do is you're going to make sure, again, for weight loss, you have your supplements, that you have your shakes, that you have your detox, that you have your whatever, that everything's ready to go. So like that is your time to make sure. And you're doing that how many days a week? 7 days a week. Why are you doing 7 days a week? So that you don't slide. Not until you start making significant progress. Not until that you get the ball not rolling up the hill. Remember, that's the hard part. The first 3 weeks is rolling that ball up the hill. All right. Then when you get momentum and you're pushing it downhill, it's so much easier. It really is. You want to do it. Why do you want to do it? Because you're seeing progress. But until you start to see progress, you need to make yourself do the work. Eventually, you'll want to do the work. You won't just want a 30-minute routine in the morning. You're going to want 90 minutes. You're like, I want more of this. I see how much I'm accomplishing. And if I'm doing 30 minutes now, well, if I did twice as much, well, I'll accomplish, or if I do twice as much time, I'll accomplish twice as much. If I have 90 minutes, I'll accomplish 3 times as much, which means I'll make my goals happen 3 times faster, or I'll do 3 times as much goal achieving, which I think is absolutely phenomenal. So whatever your goal is, set aside that 30 minutes to start. 20 minutes. If all you have is 20 minutes, fine. Now, what might have to happen is that you might have to go to bed 20 to 30 minutes earlier. Good. It's healthier for you. To be honest, the earlier you go to bed, the healthier it is for you. So you're going to go to bed. You're going to eat a light dinner. You're going to take your before bed nutritional supplements to get you in deep sleep, whether it's some magnesium or whether it's some CBD oil or, whatever it is. Or maybe you just sleep like a rock. Well, then good for you. That's great. So get to bed earlier and then you're going to wake up 20, 30 minutes earlier. And that's the easiest way. Why? Because really it's only the morning that you can truly control, is that it's waking up before everybody else. That's the truth. And most people aren't willing to wake up early. They're just not. They're just not. And that's okay, because the difference is you are. And if you're willing to wake up earlier, then you are willing to do the things that make you extraordinary. And if you say extraordinary like a normal person, like I don't, then it becomes extraordinary. You accomplish extraordinary things in your life. But you only accomplish extraordinary things in your life when you're willing to do the extraordinary. And being strange, like me and other people, and waking up earlier and actually wanting to see our goals come to fruition and not being tossed around like you're a mooring in the tide in the ocean makes you different. And that's a great thing. I've always been different. I've always not really fit in. I've always been that person, but that's okay. And now I'm accepting it. And I have a life that is by design. I have the life that I want. I really do. I have that life now. And that's what I want to help you accomplish. Do I still have my low points? Yes, I've talked about that before. You always will. But I have high highs and they stay higher longer before a low point might start to dip in. And now I know how to pull myself out of that low point at a faster rate. So what I want you to do right now, this is what I want you to do. I want you to decide on what that goal is, and then I want you to carve out that 20 to 30 minutes every single morning. If you can get more, great. But what I want you to do is get consistent. So just try at least 30 minutes every morning for right now. When you can do that 20 to 30 minutes every single day, 7 days a week, for 2 weeks, then you can start to move it up to 45 minutes or even 40 minutes and then to 60 minutes. And that's the important thing. It's 7 days a week. That's the surefire way to success. 7 days a week, okay? 7 days a week. Why? Because believe it or not, just taking off the weekends is, now I'm forced to do the math. What's that? It's somewhere around like 20% of your week, right? So that's really, really important to look at. You can't take off that much time. But remember, we're not asking for a lot of time. We're asking that if you're looking to the certification, the study, reading the books, working on your mindset, transforming your body, getting well, working on your own spirituality, reading the books that are going to deepen that, no time off, right? Get your mind in the right place right from the very beginning of the day. When this happens, without you even realizing it at first, you can say, I'm just happier. I'm just feeling more fulfilled. You walk around kind of smiling for no reason at all. That's when people get like, is everything okay with this person? And that is, you literally become what I call a goal-achieving person. And that, to me, is what increases happiness in life because you start to envision yourself totally different. You become more self-confident. When you see the person in the mirror, you understand that anything is possible. And that's because you have a system that allows you over time to achieve everything you want in life. You accomplish one goal, good, you move on to the next. You accomplish that goal, good, you move on to the next. Eventually you get to the point where you can start to work on a few things at the same time. When this happens, you literally become happier than you could possibly imagine. And the reason is that I truly believe life is about growth. Life is about feeling fulfilled. And the only way that you feel that way is to start moving forward in your life. I truly believe the morning routine and then getting yourself set up the night before by making the to-do list, by just laying out the gym bag, by laying out the supplements, by thinking where you're going to get the food the next day, whatever it might be, by doing that, you set yourself up for success. These two habits, anchoring the evening, creating the morning routine, just getting 30 minutes to yourself to start every single morning are going to be game changers. I would love to hear how this is working for you. Please just sign up at cabralsupportgroup.com, completely free Facebook group. I would love for you to share with me how you're creating your own morning routine and how it's working for you. Thank you so much. If this episode helped, please do feel free to share it with anyone you believe it could serve. Take care. Ever wonder what the best sauna, blue blockers, sleep trackers, wake lights, salt lamps, or other health gadgets are? Or what about the top non-toxic mattresses, sheets, soaps, bath products, toothpaste, and cookware? Or would you like to know the cleanest choices for hemp parts, meal delivery services, supplements, and much more? I personally curated, researched, and now created a resource page of all of my top picks that continues to grow each week. These are the exact products I use in my own life, with my family, in my private practice, and they're the ones I trust. To find out all of my up-to-date recommendations and all the details, simply head on over to stephencabral.com/resources.